I went to a wedding. The groom wouldn't stop smiling. A true creepy Reddit story. Source at Nah Sleep. I went to my cousin Ava's wedding a few days ago. I'm still processing what's happened. I'll try to get everything out as best I can. Ava has been dating some guy named Ethan for the past year. Being in their 30s, they sort of fast-tracked the whole marriage thing. I'd never met the guy and I hadn't spoken to Ava in a few years, but what the hell, it was guaranteed to be a fun time. The groom walked down the aisle first. A tall, pale man in a dark suit. He stood at the front of the church and smiled. He smiled when Ava walked down the aisle. He smiled as they kissed after being pronounced husband and wife. He smiled as they walked out of the church. It didn't strike me as weird until we got to the reception. When they entered, he was still grinning that wide grin with his perfectly white, straight teeth. But up close, it looked, I don't know, wrong somehow. He wasn't really engaging with guests. He wasn't talking or laughing. He was just sort of scanning the place, staring, grinning wide without it really reaching his eyes. Asterisk, I guess he's smiling for the camera. Asterisk, I told myself. Asterisk, or maybe he's a little socially awkward. And he figures nothing will go wrong if he just keeps smiling. Asterisk. It got really weird, however, when they served dinner. I watched him sitting at the sweetheart table with Ava, shoveling chicken piccata into his mouth as he still grinned, barely opening his mouth wide enough to get the bite, immediately closing it, making loud, chewing noises as he chewed asterisk while asterisk grinning. Have you ever seen someone chew their food while grinning? It is completely unnatural looking, smiling with your mouth closed, sure, but showing all your teeth grinning as you chew, it was so asterisk fucking weird. They eventually came to our table to say hi. I couldn't tear my eyes away from his face. He was still grinning. His wide blue eyes were jittering from person to person at the table. His face looked like a mask. There was no warmth. It was like looking at a statue. I whispered this to my sister once they left. There's something seriously wrong with him. Why is he smiling like that? My sister thought I was being a catty old maid. Well, old mister, shut up. He looks fine. No, he doesn't. He looks like he's madly in love, she snapped back. Stop being jealous. Geez, Matt, that hurt. It honestly did. None of the other guests seemed to think anything was wrong. They thought it was all fine. Him grinning through the first dance, through the speeches, through the fucking champagne toast. He tilted the champagne flute into his grinning mouth without spilling a drop, somehow. Asterisk, this is so weird. Asterisk. I excused myself to use the bathroom. But that was my first mistake, not realizing he had disappeared from the dance floor. As I was washing my hands, a stall door swung open behind me. In the mirror over my shoulder, I saw Ethan standing there. His skin looked milky white in the bright lights. His blue, bulgy frog eyes stared at me, and he was smiling. I don't mean that he saw me, and then smiled. No, when he opened the stall door, he was already smiling. He walked over and began washing his hands at the sink right next to me, even though there were 3 other sinks. Our shoulders bumped. Great wedding, I mumbled, trying to be friendly. He turned to look down at me, slowly. His blue eyes bored into mine. My heart began to pound. Music's great, too, I said nervously to fill the silence. He just stared at me. That's when I realized He hadn't said a single word the entire wedding. There were no vows. He just nodded when the officiant asked if he took Ava as his wife. He didn't thank the best man after the speech, and I hadn't even seen him talking to Ava at the sweetheart table, just smiling and staring. I backed away. His eyes tracked me as I went. Just as I reached the bathroom door, he stretched up to his full height and stared down at me. He looked even taller than he had in the reception hall, somehow, under the fluorescent lights. Then he stopped smiling. As his face relaxed, his cheeks sagged. His forehead drooped. The skin of his face began to shift and slide. I froze as his face began to pull and separate from his skull. He grinned, and everything stretched back into place. I finally leapt into action and darted out the bathroom door. I went back to my sister and grabbed her arm. "We have to get out of here," I breathed. "Ethan Hees, will you shut asterisk up asterisk already?" she said, barely even looking at me. And then Ethan sauntered in, long legs taking him smoothly across the dance floor. He slowed as he passed our table on his way back to Ava. He reached out and squeezed my shoulder. It's been 3 days. The skin of my shoulder is pulsing with pain, like it's infected somehow. And I can't help but notice, every time I look in the mirror, my face looks a little saggier, a little looser, like it isn't quite attached the same way anymore. So I've started smiling more, just to hold everything in place.